What else have you seen in terms of what Tyler is doing and also what the offensive coaches have done? What have been the big differences?
Yeah. One, I would say I think that Tyler finally has his confidence back. I think you're starting to see that confidence not only be present in him, but now you see it starting to flow on some of the receivers. You know, you're not seeing as many drops. You're seeing more big plays. You're seeing more consistent catching. So I'm definitely excited about that. But I want to see that next step. You know, I mean, obviously going into the last couple of weeks for North Carolina, we had the 2 weeks off, so you can definitely tell that the offense is gelled, that they've kind of figured out like what their new adjustment is. But if you don't think that Duke is studying what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks and what the difference between the first 4 weeks and these last two, like that's all they're going to study. What are the new maybe 10 to 15 plays or formations that Gaddis put in that's been successful, and they're going to do their very best job in stopping that. Because one thing I can say about Duke, they're super smart. And so that to me is going to be the interesting factor on this. Is they're not going to be super athletic, but what you're good at, they're going to do their best to take it away. So a lot of the vertical game, I'm very interested to see how this staff adjusts for this week, because this is going to be a interesting challenge.
So as far as Miami attacking Duke's defense, Duke is in the bottom third of the country. They give up 402.1 yards per game. They give up 260 passing yards per game. Based on the way Van Dyke has played the last couple of weeks, maybe we expect Miami to put up even more than 260. How do you see the matchups playing out for Miami offensively? And is this going to be another big Colby Young game?
Yeah, so I honestly hope we run the ball a lot. To be honest with you, I love that we're throwing. I think that I do hope Tyler throws for over 250 yards, and I hope like there's a lot of love spread throughout. But I also feel like we can't allow our team to become one dimensional just because they're not good at the pass game, and people have thrown for X amount. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't play to your strengths. Like I think Mario and them want to have a run dominant team. Yes, we're good at the pass game, but like we don't want to abandon the run. There's too much that goes into it between like time management, the time you get the defense off the field, just small things like that trickle over, especially when it gets to third and fourth quarter. If you've been throwing the ball primarily the whole first half, your defense isn't going to be off the field very long. Because if you go 3 and out, that could be like 15, 20 seconds. But if you're running the ball, that can be a minute and a half, 2-3 minutes real time. That now your defense kind of gets that break. So I think I hope that the offense is clicking at least from the pass game, but I would love to see the run game run for like 250, 300 yards.
Malik is a quarterback and a quarterback aficionado. I'm sure you appreciate what Riley Leonard is doing with Duke. I mean, he's top 5 in the ACC in passing, but he's number 6 in the country in quarterback running, averaging 60-plus yards rushing per game. And we saw early in the season, Miami, for the first couple games, because obviously Texas A&M didn't have a running threat at quarterback, Miami was struggling to contain mobile quarterbacks. They did do a better job a couple weeks ago, against Drake May at Carolina. Obviously, he put up big yardage, but Miami did a better job with contain, I thought, in that game. They're really going to be tested this week, Malik. So what has stood out to you about Riley Leonard?
Accuracy and toughness. The kid throws really accurate balls. I think one thing that he does a really good job of is ball placement. Because I think he understands that, his receivers, yes, he has athletes, but most of the teams that he plays, he's not going to have the most athletic receivers. You know what I mean? So he kind of has that Tom Brady effect to where my receivers are good enough to get separation, but I got to be great at giving them ball placement. Because if you watch a lot of his throws, especially in man coverage, it's a lot of bang, bang plays. It's ball placements outside. As soon as the kid catches it, the guy's getting tackled. So that's where he does a really good job. And then obviously we talked about he runs the ball. You know what I mean? When you're a running quarterback, like I know you get banged up, you get hit hard, you get hit late. The fact that he's able to run the ball as much as he does, even though I don't think people understand. He doesn't. To me, he's not like the quarterback for Florida State or like a DJ, but he's almost like more like the Joe Burrow type, where he will run randomly, and they do have some run plays for him, but it's more pocket breakdown, third and medium, kind of what I was worried about last week and the last couple of weeks is, third and medium, those guys really getting their legs involved in the run game. Also, he's actually a QB country guy. So the guy that trained me, David Morris, trained Riley. I mean, I'm pretty sure since he was about 10 or 12 years old. And he now trains up in North Carolina. So he'll start training with Boone. So there's a lot of QB country rivalry. I've already talked to David about it. And so we've already talked about the Duke Miami game.